Okay, great. Okay. All right, welcome everyone. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so I can share with you just a few. Okay, if it'll let me, hold on. There we go. Okay, perfect. Hopefully everyone can see my screen. If not, let me know, Brianne, if you don't mind.
Yes, I can see it.
Thank you. Okay, so welcome everyone to this month's LatinXfactor webinar series celebrating National Entrepreneurship Week. Today, it's a three-part series, as you may have seen on the promotion emails and all the communication that was sent out about it. And hopefully you had a chance to read all the descriptions. We have the this particular series celebrating National Entrepreneurship Week today, tomorrow, Tuesday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. Join us. And Wednesday, February 15th. Today, focus or topic will be hot seat coaching on your business ideas, and it will be presented by our wonderful speaker, Francesca Escoto, SHIP lifetime member and successful entrepreneur. So the agenda for today will be, I'll give a brief presentation of Francesca. I'll share with you some SHIP upcoming events, and we'll dive into the presentation, and I'll end with Q&A. Before we do that, I just realized I did not introduce myself. My name is Anna Patrick. I'm the manager of member relations here at SHIP, and I will be your host for the evening, or co-host, should I say. My other co-host is Brianne Martin, the Director of Member Experience and Operations, and she will be helping to manage the chat. So let's dive in. So here is a little bit about our presenter tonight is Francesca Escoto, and I'm going to read just a little bit of her bio, but here are some bullet points to for your reading pleasure. So Francesca has launched companies, led sales teams, and managed complex software projects for herself and many of her clients. She started her career as an industrial engineer and has certifications as a professional coach, project manager, Scrum Master, and SAFE. Francesca grew up launching and running Taekwondo schools in the Dominican Republic with her parents, and that planted a seed for her own serial entrepreneurial journey. Her first venture was developing software to track the performance of aircraft engines, while simultaneously leading volunteer efforts in nonprofit organizations. The two paths, corporate and nonprofit organizations, corporate and nonprofit leadership, evolved in parallel, allowing her to transfer skills from one sector to the other seamlessly. Today, she's a C-suite executive and senior project manager, managing multi-million-dollar initiatives and teams ranging from 7 to 60 individuals. Francesca has been tapped by MIT Media Lab, WPI, Cosmo for Latinas, South by Southwest, Code 2040, SHIP, NPR, and others to share her wisdom on their stages and pages. She has a Bachelor of Science in Industrial Engineering from Worcester Polytechnic Institute and loves being a mom to her 3 daughters, figurative and portrait painting, as well as salsa dancing. So we have that in common, Francesca. I love salsa dancing as well.
Nice.
So, all right. So before we hand it over to our wonderful speaker, I did want to share a little bit of upcoming events that we have at SHIP. Just some of them. LatinXfactor, the next series for March, will be celebrating Women in STEM, Breaking Barriers to celebrate Women's History Month. That will be held March 13th through the 15th. The specific topics and speakers will be released soon. Then we have our spring conferences coming up, the virtual ones, which are titled SHIP Exchange, and those will be held March 30th through the 31st, and that's SHIP Exchange Tech. That will be the industry focus there. SHIP Exchange Engineering, April 20th through 21st. It will be more of a general engineering focus. And SHIP Exchange Professionals, May 18th through the 19th. We also have our in-person spring conference, Leadership Live, which will be held in 3 different locations. Dallas, Texas, March 2nd through the 4th. Arlington, Virginia, April 13th through the 15th. in Santa Clara, California, April 27th through the 29th. We sincerely hope you can join us. You can find all the information on our website. You can, and I'm sure Brianna is going to drop in the links there on the chat, but if you just Google Ship Exchange or Leadership Live, the way that is spelled here, it will take you there without any problems. Okay, and lastly, I did want to encourage you to fill out a brief survey on today's webinar for a chance to win a $15 gift card. We will be doing this drawing today, tomorrow, and Wednesday as well, so you have multiple chances. Here is a QR code. I will share it at the end of the webinar if you need it, but if you want to take a quick screenshot of it or take a quick pic of it, and that way you have it ready to go for at the end of the meeting when you get a chance to fill out your thoughts. It'll help us tremendously as we continue to improve upon these webinars, not only in today's topic, but future topics that you may want to see. Okay, so let me go ahead and stop sharing here. And Francesca, it is all yours.
All right. I am so excited. You guys don't understand how cool it is to be here with my first love, which is SHIP, and where all the things started, all the good things. Let's see. Let me get the presentation on and go from there. Okay, so thank you so much for that introduction. You covered all the I don't know, resume things, but let me tell you about SHIP and why I'm here and how exciting it is to be part of what you guys are doing right now. I've been a SHIP member since 1994. So is that 29 years? It'll be, yeah, like 29 years, I guess. And I am very proud of what the organization has done, how far the organization has come in that time frame. I've been part of the leadership at different levels at different times. I started as first president of my student chapter, co-founded with friends, and then kind of went on from there. Then I became sub-regional rep and started some chapters in the sub-region. I guess that's the entrepreneur in me already doing the starting thing. Then I went on to the professional side. I helped establish some 2 professional chapters. They didn't take off so well, so I'm not sure that was my strong suit, but you know, more stuff that I did. I sat on the national board of directors as the national student representative. That position has shifted and kind of grown over the years, but that was my role back then. I sat on the board again as founder of Region 7, what we know as Region 7 today. And I've been on the organization, different committees. I was a consultant for SHIP at one point, doing entrepreneurship and technology innovation programming through a Google grant that I secured. So I've been in probably your seat somehow in some way. So I hope that we can relate to each other as we're going through this presentation. Like I said, I love the organization, very excited about what SHIP could do and could contribute to the entrepreneurship ecosystem in the United States for Latinos and just for diversifying the innovation economy in general. So always glad to contribute to this topic. As it was mentioned, I consider myself a serial entrepreneur. I've started different businesses, sold some, grown, completely flopped some. So the breadth of experience is there, but through my coaching practice, I have been able to work with businesses in various industries and different points of their journey. So, you know, I've just been around for a little while, so I don't necessarily know all the things. I've just seen a lot. Okay, so pick my brain. That's what we're here for today. I want to kind of give you an overview of how we're gonna spend our time together, so that you can prepare accordingly and, you know, just have your questions ready. My cat, y'all, is very needy right now. So I'm going to be doing this. He'll come up to me and I'll put him down, and we'll just do that a few times until he gets the idea. I'm going to cover some material. I wanted to keep today very focused on what it takes to go from idea to prototype, right? Like, how do you get out of your head? So there's not a lot of content, all right? It's going to be a very short presentation, but I really, really, really want people who are here to take the opportunity of being on the hot seat and allowing me to just coach you through whatever part of the process you're either stuck on or unsure about or questioning how to move to the next level, okay? So there will be a little bit of content, and then I intentionally made a lot of time available to make it about you and make it actionable so that you can take very practical pieces of information that you can actually move upon as soon as we finish here. So with that said, let us get started. Yay! So exciting. So let's start with this question. As you know, you probably have heard statistics if you've done research in this area. Businesses that start have a 50-50 chance of succeeding past year 5. Okay, so why do you think businesses fail in those first 5 years? And I don't know if people can speak, if they can be unmuted to participate, or
yes,
if
Francesca, everyone can unmute themselves if they'd like, or turn your camera on, people, and participate. Drop it in the chat if that's easier.
You could do chat, you can speak. I like interaction, so and this is just kind of a little practice so that you get comfy and you can ask more questions later. Come on, people.
Yes, they don't do their due diligence, so they don't research the industry. They do not have enough capital. They are not focused.
All right, I'm gonna write these down, Jeremy. All right, so you're saying research
The
capital.
industry. Yep.
What was the other one?
Loss of interest or focus.
Okay. Other thoughts?
You can be unlucky, or
Unlucky.
have
That's interesting.
not enough like consumer interest, if that makes sense.
Consumer interest, yes.
Good input, everyone. Appreciate y'all joining the conversation.
I'll take one more. Anybody else? Okay, so the number one reason, if this, there we go. It's inadequate product market fit. Number one reason. And it's the number one reason by a lot. It's about, I'm gonna say, like 60%. It might read differently, like, you know, when you look at statistics, it could be like marketing efforts. In some cases, they call it, like this lady just said, consumer interest. It can sound differently, but ultimately what it's leading to is product market fit being inadequate. It is, I'm going to say, a myth that somehow it's not, that you didn't research properly. And thank you, Jeremy, for bringing it up, because it's actually a very broadly shared misconception that somehow if you do enough research, you can get your business right. And it depends on what you mean by research. So we'll go into that in a second. Definitely in the first 5 years, it can look like lack of capital. And we're going to talk about that in a second. Well, maybe 5 seconds. But capital by itself is a symptom of product market fit that didn't work out, it is not a reason in and of its own. And we're going to talk about that. Loss of focus or interest, for sure. People abandon projects. They just move on, and that's not the thing they want to do. Unlucky, there is the luck of the market, right? You put a video out into, I don't know, the TikTok world, and it goes viral. And next thing you know, you have gazillion sales. That can definitely influence. At the same time, businesses that grow instantly because of, instant fame and luck are such a minute number that we shouldn't use luck. And I'm not saying that that's what anybody suggested, but I just want to kind of debunk that. We shouldn't bank on luck. That's not a strategy. It is just a happenstance thing. So I want to talk then about what product market fit is before we move on, because that is going to be kind of the foundation for our conversation about ideas. Does anyone, just by looking at this, have an idea or a thought about what product market fit is?
Maybe like a luxury grocery store in a like poor or like a less affluential area.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Yeah.
Like in a less affluent.
Yeah, that's a really good example. So you have a high-end retail experience in a low-end market, right? So the product doesn't fit that market. Other examples. That was really good, Jennifer. Thank you.
It could also be something that doesn't align with like age appropriateness.
Yes, right. So it's also demographic, or in this case, age specific, right? So any of the demographics that could impact how the product is used, who purchases the product, and like the who, the how, the when, any of those things can impact your product market fit. It can be something as simple as, or obvious, like what Jennifer was saying, where you have a high-end product in a low-end marketplace. But what if it was a high-end product for a high-end clientele, but it's the wrong gender, or it's the wrong age, or it's the correct household, you're in the right family, but now you're marketing to the parent when it's actually the child that's making a decision, or you're marketing to the parent when it's really the teacher who is making a decision. So those are some examples. It can also be that the product, there's something about the delivery of your product to the client that somehow doesn't make sense. They want something instant, and your process requires that they wait 5 days. They want something packaged in a certain way that they can gift, and you don't package it in that way. You give it to them in another type of packaging, which is environmentally friendly, but it just so happens this audience doesn't care about environmental friendliness, they care about something else, right? So any of those variations, they seem so subtle, right? And at times what I find is entrepreneurs getting angry with the audience they choose. Like, oh, they don't understand how good this new box is for the environment. It's like, well, you didn't tell them, right? What they don't know about what you're doing is not their fault. It's actually on the entrepreneur, on the visionary, to bring that out into the world and to make sure that whether it's through educational campaigns or whatever the process might be, that you bridge that gap between where that potential client is and what your product offers them, okay? And there's a whole lot of things that you have to do in the process to get there. Unfortunately, that's not what we're covering today. We can certainly get into that at other points in time. But that is the intricacies of getting that feedback from your client is where the money is made. Okay. So then there are no bad ideas. Okay. There are no bad ideas. There's only bad executions. So when people come to me and they're like, well, how do I know if this is a good idea? Then, well, I won't know until you try. It takes that conversation with an audience for you to really get feedback from someone as to whether or not what you are thinking of is something they value. It is always the market that will tell you if the idea is viable or not. And there is usually a market for an idea. When I think of Crocs, for example, I would tell you that it was a terrible idea to not only create Crocs. I mean, Crocs are hideous, but then to put gadgets on them, right? Like that is a whole industry, and somebody made a lot of money making these little things that you put into the Croc holes, right? Who would have thought that that was a good business idea? Nobody. But even that is a viable business, vibrant. Someone paid off their mortgage and paid their kids' college tuition and now lives in Tahiti, you know, because they came up with that. And when you think of something like dog walking, who thinks that that's going to pay your bills and that's going to keep you living and breathing and doing, you know, whatever it is that people do with their incomes, right? Well, it is also a business. It's a business model and it works. And there are people who are very profitable walking other people's dogs and cleaning their poop. It's a business. It's a good idea. It's effective because of the execution. Okay. So how do I choose one? I wish that there was a really robust science, some sort of spreadsheet. You can get super sophisticated and get into like matrices, weighted options, and score the different variables and then come up with numbers and then move that way. But even that has a lot of subjectivity because you have to give weight to the different categories. You have to rank each of those. You have to score them and come up with, you know, whatever you think that score might be for each one. So I want to simplify it. And I want to give you 3 things to think about. Okay. I want you to think about your skill set. And skill set is not just your degree. A skill set is something you are particularly good at innately. Maybe you are a great presenter. Maybe you are a great writer. Maybe you are, I don't know, you play the guitar, right? So there are skills other than your academic preparation, including your academic preparation, formal and informal, that composes all of your skills. Then you have to think about personal interests. Back to the guitar. Maybe you play the guitar, but maybe you really love guitars, okay? And you're a mechanical engineer and you love guitars and you never thought about the fact that you could build guitars. And voila, there's the thing that you're super passionate about, right? And then we're going to talk about affordability. I don't want you to think of affordability as a limiting factor. I'm not saying that it has to be a small dream. You know, people think of entrepreneurship as an opportunity to become the wealthiest person in the planet. Okay, sure, you can get there. Entrepreneurship is more than anything, it's a lifestyle, and it's the pursuit of a vision that you just can't walk away from. For some people, and I'm included in that, being an entrepreneur does not mean that you don't have a W-2 employment somewhere. I always tell my clients, you know, your employer is your first angel investor. That's the first person that makes an investment in you and allows you through their salary payments, they allow you in your free time to be able to build this business. Okay, so it's not either or. We're not talking about money perhaps, you know, or specifically. Affordability has to do with doing what you can. right? Sometimes people pick an idea that is completely outside of their current world. And instead of building a bridge between here and where they want to go, they're like, well, I can't do it. And that's what I don't want you to do. As engineers, we can get so caught up in the perfect product that we miss product market fit. Okay, we get so caught up in building the Mercedes-Benz to start with and put all of our money and effort into this thing. And then we forget that we have to actually have money left over for marketing, right? So I want you to think of affordability as something, you know, an idea that you can get started with rather quickly. An idea that you can get started with right away with what you have, okay? So personal interest, passion, sometimes your pain becomes your cause. Maybe you're an immigrant, or you survived X illness or situation. Anything that you find passion in, anything that drives you is a potential topic of a business. You want to have a skill that is relevant to this thing that you're doing, that you can make that connection and do something wonderful with that skill in that area of interest. And then you're going to think of the way in which you can get started quickly to make an impact in that area. So I want to pause here, and I want to entertain any questions people might be having about how to choose an idea. Okay, we're gonna keep going. If you hear a lot of background noises, because it's dinner time in my house and people are going about business in the kitchen. So as a bonus, I want to share with you that these three are very similar to the design thinking framework that looks at feasibility, viability, and desirability of a product in order to select or prepare the launch of a new product in a particular market, wherever. So feasibility, it has to do with, is this doable? It has to do with supply chain. What kind of materials would I use to make this happen? How can I produce it? Do I have the infrastructure to make that happen? Viability has a lot to do with this product market fit. Can I price this in a way that covers my expenses and still makes me a profit margin? And do enough people want this at that price point so that this can be profitable over the long haul, right? So viability has to do with the business, like truly the numbers, and understanding cost and profit margins and all of that. And then desirability is all about, is this what people want? Did I build the right solution? Or did I beautifully solve the wrong problem, right? So desirability has a lot to do with that product market fit as well. Well, all three touch on that, but those are kind of very related to design thinking as far as how I think that you should choose an idea. So a little bonus, if you want to look further into that, you'll learn a lot from design thinking. So how much money do you need to start? What I tell people is as little as possible. And that's for real. Like $500 should get you far. Okay. You should not be thinking right now on how do I build the manufacturing plant for my tortillas? Like, no, you're going to make tortillas at home, and you're going to go from home to maybe your garage, and then a commercial kitchen, and then your own kitchen. And then you're going to go into a manufacturing plant where you're actually doing, you know, whatever it is that you're wanting to do. So you should start with what you have. This goes back to affordability. Don't set goals for yourself that are so far out that you don't have a way of getting from here to there, okay? The immediate goal should be a small step. It should be an increment, not like leaps and bounds. So start with as little as possible. Prototyping is the key to starting a low cost project. Okay, you want to build the ugliest thing, the cheapest thing. As a matter of fact, if you're like super excited about it and proud of it, you went too far. Okay, it should be super simple. It should be very rudimentary. And why do you think I advise people to go in this direction? Why should prototyping be so simple?
Because it's just an avenue to show kind of where you're, it's sort of like a brainstorm, like kind of messy first draft.
It is a brainstorm and it is messy. And what's going to happen with that prototype?
You'll advance it, like you'll keep refining it.
You should be able to trash that thing, right? And just start over if that's what you have to do. So if you put $50,000 so that you can have the whatever thing gadget done in China, they can send you 10 of them. You ran out of money. And now how do you build the next iteration or the next model or the next version of this thing? Okay, it should be something that you do not get emotionally attached to. You don't care if you put it in the trash, right? It should be ugly, simple, rudimentary, cheap. Then you can make adjustments. You can pivot, which means you're going to change directions altogether. You were going east and now you're going to go west. Okay, maybe you were building a cup that people can use in their cars and it never spills, and you're going in that direction. Then you realize it's not a cup for adults, it's actually a sippy cup for kids that blah blah blah. And so now you have to completely go back to the drawing board and redesign. Okay, iteration means, okay, it's the cup for the adults, it has to fit the cup holder, but now it can't be so tall. Now that is an iteration. That's just course correction. You're just making tweaks so that you can incorporate the feedback from that client and you can keep moving in that same direction. But if you have fallen in love with your prototype, and if you are so married to your product that you've built in flexibility into your process, it's going to be really hard for you to get that product market fit, because it won't be easy or cheap for you to start over. By the time that you've spent money in your product to that degree, you really should have product market fit already. So part of what people ask me here at this point is, okay, so should I patent my idea? No, not yet. It doesn't mean that you don't do it ever. It just means you have nothing to patent yet, because you haven't arrived at that final solution yet. You're still prototyping, okay? You're still gonna destroy the thing, start over. You're still gonna change the size of the lever, enlarge the whatever, change the material of the blah, blah, blah. You're gonna keep playing with this thing for a little bit, and there is nothing to patent. People get so excited about that first design that they go and take all of their 501, I was gonna say 501c3. I mean, their 401k. They get their retirement plan out, they purchase whatever service from a lawyer to have their widget, gadget, invention patented. And again, they're left with no money to actually go and do market studies, to actually get the feedback that they need from real users, and there's no money for marketing. So don't do that. Don't focus on patenting or anything like that. Just test your ish. Make sure that you get in front of real humans, ask them real questions. You don't need 100,000 customers, okay? You only need 10, 25 people to give you real feedback, not your mom, okay? And we'll talk about that in a second, but real people that can give you real feedback so that you can then make adjustments until people actually are willing to pay. All right. That's how much money you need to start. And that is how you get started. It's through prototyping. So how do I build a prototype? Whatever idea you have in your head right now, by the end of tonight, can be a prototype. I mean, unless you are building intergalactic space vehicles, or you are formulating a new drug for something, okay, chances are that you can build a prototype tonight of the thing that's in your head. If we're talking about services, it is as simple as a flyer, a website, a proposal, a workshop outline. You can think of other things depending on your idea. If it's a gadget, a thing that you're wanting to build, use some PVC pipe. Listen, Home Depot is your best friend. Cardboard, sticks, glue. You can use existing technology and just adapt it. And you might be thinking, well, what are you talking about? I'm talking about like Legos, a toy that moves in a certain way, and you can use it to mimic the movement of the thing that you're trying to build, okay? 3D printing, which you can do at libraries and innovation centers. Like, find a place that does 3D printing and head over there, okay? But getting a prototype done is that easy. What is hard about prototyping is not the doing, it's the thinking. It's getting out of your head, and it's getting past the fear of doing it wrong, of it not being good enough. Nobody's gonna like it. They're gonna think I'm crazy. This Frankenstein looking thing is ugly and people are gonna laugh. That is really what you have to get over. You have to get over yourself in order to turn that idea into a prototype. So don't let fear stop you. Get started. Do the thing. Go from the thing that's in your head to paper or to gadget, and put that in front of people. So when do you need money, right? Because everyone's like, I need capital, I need money, I need investors. Well, if all you have is an idea and a really ugly prototype, you don't need an investor. That's not what you need next, okay? Because the only times you're needing money like desperately at the beginning is because you're spending more than you're earning, and you're burning through your capital with, you know, your savings, your salary, whatever, which means you're not selling, right? And which means you haven't found product market fit, which means you shouldn't go for an investor because you haven't found a solution to the problem yet, right? Or you don't have enough money for marketing. Maybe you have a product market fit and people like the thing, but you are not marketing to enough humans to get the demand that you need in order to start making money off of this idea or this potential business. The other reason why you would need money is because you're growing so fast that you can't keep up. That is when you get money. That is when you get an investor. And before you get an investor, you get a loan. Because if you have that kind of demand and you can show the bank, listen, I've been open for a year. I now have orders for 300 gadgets. They've paid. Here's the money in the bank. I need to go buy supplies to satisfy those sales. Can you please front me the money with a loan that I can pay back over 5 years? That's the time when you go and get outside capital. Is when you're needing to match your demand and you have to build infrastructure, whether that's operations, you need to hire people, you know, whatever that might be. But before that, it's usually that you're not ready. You're going too fast in the wrong direction, and money is only gonna bail you out. It's not gonna make you money, right? So based on that, the question then still remains, how do I know if it's a good idea? Like, how do I take that leap? How do I go and try to get those clients? Like, how do I know this is the one? Well, there it is. Well, because customers pay for your prototype, period. This is not that your sister says it's a great idea and it looks great. This is not that your girlfriend's friends saw the gadget and said, oh my God, that looks so cool. That is not it. It's not someone saying, oh, I would totally pay for that. No, it's someone actually paid for it. Okay, because remember, you're going to keep refining that prototype until it becomes sellable. And then when someone says, you know what, that's what I want, how can I pre-order? Here is, whatever, $300 I want in on the first batch. Or someone sees the flyer for the technical service that you're going to provide, and they say, oh, this is exactly what I need. When can you get started? Where do I sign? That is the moment when you know your prototype is your product, that you've hit that product market fit. Nothing else other than dollars in your hands, right, are going to confirm that the thing you're offering is the thing that people want at that price point. Okay, so anything outside of dollars on hand is perhaps validation, but it's not confirmation. And so if you don't have paying customers, you have no paying customers, you don't actually have a business. You might have a hobby, you have an interest, you have an idea, you have a theory, a lot of things, but you don't yet have a business until someone is paying you or has paid you for the thing that you are doing. Whoops. So this is where I want to pause my part and then open up the floor to actual coaching and help you get unstuck. This is it. You want to find that spot between your personal interest, your relevant skill, the affordability, how quickly can you start this thing? You want to find that place where these overlap and build something there. So I'll leave this up. You can take screenshots, do whatever it is that you want to do. That's kind of your assignment. And let's open it up. How can I help? And don't decide if that's what you're here.
Sorry to keep talking, but my idea is I want to produce tequila.
You want to produce what?
Tequila.
Okay, awesome.
But I'm not really sure how I would prototype that, and that's kind of where I've been stuck because it's such like a involved process to get that. From the kind of plant you use to like you need distillation equipment and like a lot of stuff. So I've been kind of stuck in the idea, and I really haven't known how to move forward.
So let me ask you this: what is the simplest way for making tequila?
Well, it's like a pretty involved process, but if you had like a very small batch distillation device and then like agave on hand, you could roast the agave in the oven.
So let's talk about the simplest distillation equipment. What is that?
I'm not sure. Probably like a home, just like stuff that hobbyist whiskey people use. Maybe.
Okay. What are we talking about? Like, where do you get that? Can you get it used on Marketplace?
Potentially.
Okay, so go on Facebook Marketplace right now, because I ain't going nowhere. You got 45 minutes to do some research and see if you can find yourself a used home distillery equipment of some sort.
Okay, I'll be back.
Yes, ma'am. Who's next?
Just giving a shout out to Jennifer, making her dreams reality tonight.
That's right, right here, right now.
Feel free to come on, you guys.
Some people would think of that, oh, she wants to make tequila. That, my friends, is chemical engineering. So do not think for a second that your discipline, the thing that you've been studying and swimming in is somehow irrelevant. Sometimes parents will be like, I paid for engineering school and now she's gonna go make tequila. Yeah, that's okay. That's how companies are born. That's how brands are made. And that is how enterprises are built, is with that kind of idea. So sorry, I went off. Go ahead, Brianne.
Oh, no, I love it. That's what I'm just saying. Like, good for her. Like I said, and I'm also Googling, can you make home tequila? Like, how do you make it?
Guaranteed, she's not the first one to try, right? So
absolutely. I was going to encourage anyone else, any ideas? Again, like, let's please use the time with Francesca. You got another 10, 15 minutes with her. So let's now's the time.
Mm-hmm. Can't be that she's the only one that has an idea and is trying to figure it out. Come on, people.
What if we are afraid of saying our idea and somebody takes it?
That's a good point, Anna. And let me jump on that one, because the Latin American paranoia, I don't even know, gene that we carry often prevents us from actually getting the help we need to move things forward. Okay. Who else in this chat is trying to build a new tequila brand and build a whole enterprise on that? Raise your hands. Nobody. And even if someone else was trying to do that, you could cooperate, learn together. My tequila is going to be made with organic agave from, I don't know, Teotihuacan. I totally made that up, right? And then this other person is like, oh no, my tequila is going to be blue and it's going to be cheap and it's going to be for like college students, party it up. Woohoo! Totally different products.
So I have an idea.
Go ahead, Anna.
And not that I want to be an entrepreneur.
You never know.
You know the fat of those fluffy beds that kind of hug your dog and you put in their crate or in. So, I get tired of cleaning those beds because they occupy a lot of space in the washing machine and drying machine and whatever. I wanna do like a cover that is waterproof, that will protect it, and the only thing I have to do is take it off and wash the cover, not the bed.
Okay.
The only thing is I need a sewing machine and then be a little bit.
So scrap the sewing machine. What else could you use if you don't use a sewing machine?
No, by hand. I can do it by hand, but it's also researching the type of clothes that would be waterproof and also will give the same feel of that furry bed.
And so you could actually, I happen to be an expert in non-sewing. So there's tape adhesives that you can iron on.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And so you could use that, right? Just iron this thing, glue, use Velcro on the other side.
Yeah.
And now you got yourself a little pet duvet cover, right? And you did it with $12.99.
Oh, that's a good idea. Thank you, Francesca.
You're welcome.
I only wanted to do it for me only because it's so annoying getting to wash those beds.
Listen, if you don't build a business, that's fine. But if you solve your own problem, that's the start. And
Right.
That's how businesses start, right? Because then next you're like, oh, but I'm going to make the next one with a picture of him in the whatever. And then I'm going to make it match the living room. Then I'm going to make one for my friend because her dog died, whatever, right? And so next thing you know, you're making duvet covers for puppies.
Okay, thank you, Francesca. I only wanted to cooperate and to see if other people also
Thank you.
put their ideas.
All right, awesome. Yeah.
Thank you, Anna. I just wanted to chime in and say that I'm also part of the non-sewers club. So you're not alone, Francesca. That's definitely not a skill of mine. So I wanted to make a mini announcement while we wait for Jennifer to finish her search. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Maybe that will encourage some of us to share our ideas and not let the Latin American, that Latin paranoia, take over. So let's let go. Let's go ahead and stop.